Hi, this is Keith with How to Build Your Own Home, and I want to talk about why is this costing so much, and maybe what can you do to maybe alleviate that kind of stress. This here is regular sheeting material used for the roofs, used for the siding, used just about everywhere for your shear walls throughout a build. Why is it costing so much? Well, there's a lot of building going on, and there's a huge pent-up demand. I've mentioned this before. There's a lot of things happening in the country. People are moving to different places. Buildings going pretty nuts in a lot of different areas. So what can you do to kind of deal with these costs in lumber, especially sheeting material and your exterior stud work and whatnot? A couple things you can kind of do, and that is to look outside your market for lumber from other lumber yards. For example, if you're building in a very high production area, what would it cost for the lumber that may be 200 miles away or even 50 miles away? Believe it or not all lumber is the same. Not all lumber yards sell the same price. I know lumber yards that differentiate between $2 to $3 just for a sheet of OSB. And so you have to shop around, but just don't shop in your market, shop outside your market. And sometimes even the delivery costs are less and you can still make a savings. I knew I was building a job in a very luxurious, kind of high-end market, but I knew that over the hill, 50 miles away, there was a different lumber yard. We contacted them, got a better price on the lumber, and even with the delivery charge, we made some savings. So you're going to have to look outside your market, broaden your perspective as to where you might want to buy some lumber. And some lumber comes from a different region, and it's priced differently than another region. I know a timber frame company in the Midwest, and their timber frame costs have not gone up. In fact, they're probably some of the most affordable framing structures still right now because they're in a different market. So widen your perspective, look around, look at other different lumber yards. If you know your list of materials that you need, and you can get that either on your own or you can use a lot of sites online where they can help you with your cut list, what you're going to need to build your home. If you know that, you can send that off and you can get bids faster. If they have to do that for you, it's going to be a little slower. But keep one thing in mind. When you're dealing with increasing lumber prices, you're going to want to have that bid for lumber as close to the construction of the home as possible. Meaning, you don't want to get a bid now and think that you're going to bid in the fall, but it's it's still winter right now in a lot of areas. That price is going to be out the window. Don't assume that bid's going to be the same. So you're going to have to shorten your time from getting the bid to construction. They have to be really close. A lot of bidding right now is 30 days. It's not going to be any good past 30 days. I used to build with a bid that would be good for 90 days. They're shortening that because of the increase of lumber. So what that means is you've got to have your budget. As soon as you're finalized with your budget and you're ready to go, you need to start construction, especially your concrete and your framing. Those are the two costs that are going to go up, and you want to be as close to the construction of that budget as possible. Don't have that delay. Don't push it off. Don't think it's going to be a great budget. I did a budget for a job 7 months ago, and it was a little over $3 million. Well, that budget's not any good anymore. So it has to be revamped. So that's what I'm saying. Don't assume your budgets are going to be the same. Keep them tight and look outside your market. Okay. A couple of other things. Watch your cut waste as best you can. You're going to want to be on site. You don't want to. We've had some heavy rain recently. You don't want a good sheet just sitting on the dirt, in the puddle, in the mud, because they won't want to use that. Then it gets destroyed, and there goes a lot of money. So watch your cut waste, lean things up so it doesn't get destroyed, put things in piles, watch your cut waste as best you can. That means being on site, taking care of things, talking with guys and making sure they're not using the wrong lumber. Watch that. One thing, there's a silver lining with regard to all of these high costs in construction, especially your lumber prices, is that it's the mother of necessity. And we've heard that the mother of necessity creates new inventions. And so what's happening now, and I've actually seen this happen, there are a lot of new technologies, a lot of new ideas trying to replace this wall structure, the real expense of a home. People have been trying to figure that out for several decades now. But what's neat is when the cost to build is so high and it's getting up there, it creates an opportunity for new invention, a new creation. I'm seeing a lot of new things in masonry. I'm seeing a lot of new things in plastics. I'm seeing a lot of new things in hemp. Hemp is a great product. The only problem is it lacks the rigidity of wood. So it's really hard to affix things to it, and it doesn't have the structural integrity that wood does. But if they keep with that technology and they're able to mix that with maybe some concrete or other mixtures, other synthetics, they might get the rigidity for the structural integrity for hemp. I don't know. I'm watching a lot of interesting things happen in the market. The last thing I'd recommend that you do, and I'll put a list in my description below of my favorite financial advisors. These are people that study the stock market, they study markets, they study trends and currencies and all that kind of stuff. And as builders, we have to really know where the market's going, because the first thing to get shut down in a downward market is construction, which is really weird because I've never experienced this before, where the economy's not doing great, but construction is going nuts. I can't figure that one out. Other than a lot of migration in the country happening right now, I think that's the only explanation for it. But still study the market, study currencies, study how money operates and how business operates. And I'll give you a link to a lot of great people I follow. And when I get home at night, it's been a long day, I don't listen to news, or I don't listen to a lot of other entertainment. I'm listening to podcasters and other YouTube channels that are talking about finance and talking about money and talking about markets and trends and cycles and all that kind of stuff. So I'm constantly studying that to try to know where I'm at and what the next 6 months are going to be like, the next year, et cetera, et cetera. A couple of things I wanted to share with you. There's a reason why lumber's price is going up, but you can navigate it. You can watch it to try to help curb some of the additional costs that you don't necessarily need to absorb. Just look for other markets, watch your cut waste, and be proactive. Jump on it, and don't get a budget and sit on it. Get a budget ready and build, because if you wait for that budget and you delay your construction from your budget, the farther apart they are, the more costs you're going to incur. So you don't want that to happen. This should help you out. This is Keith Counts with How to Build Your Own Home.